It's late at night for me right now. It's like 4 in the morning. I've been in bed, tossing and turning, stretching my leg, like flipping one leg over. Like not going to sleep. And then I start thinking about politics. I'm thinking a lot about my friends in LA, friends from different political proclivities. And I realize, like, it's not that I don't care about politics. I care deeply about understanding what's going on in the world, understanding what's really happening. And some people would even call it the truth. If there's such a thing as objective truth, that might be a subject for another video entirely, because I question that there really is an absolute truth ever. But then a lot of it is like agreed upon perception. And if enough of us can agree on it in totality or in large enough segments, we'll be like, that is the objective truth now, until that changes. Anyway, I'm obsessed. I want to know the truth. And so I've been guided and led towards this realm of politics to understand geopolitics. And I've learned about the Federal Reserve, the liberal economic order, these new world orders that are happening, the BRICS alliance. What is that? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and whoever else is joining the BRICS alliance. This is other economic order up against the liberal economic order, which was founded in 1949. Basically, it was the British. After World War II, they shattered the Japanese Empire and the German Reich, and they took over Germany and Japan with American military bases, and they set up this global economic order, the liberal economic order. Then there's the BRICS economic order, and then there's this new world order that they've been working on that's like out of Davos, Switzerland, where it's like a corporate world order with like the World Economic Forum and things like that, where they sort of want to control through technocracy. It's another type of world order. And these three world orders are coming to a head. I find that stuff fascinating. And so I'm drawn into this realm of politics as like a guide to understand that kind of stuff. But I don't care who's the president. I just don't really. I mean, if there was, firstly, the president of the United States doesn't have a lot of power, not the power that we think they do. They're basically a mouthpiece and someone that's supposed to give morale to the people. Good. But artists can do that too. Of course, they command the military, but like we saw with the Syrian shell games that the generals were playing with Trump when he wanted to withdraw the troops out of Syria, the president isn't going to stop the military industrial complex. That's like a machine that's working on its own. So it's like the politics is almost like a red herring for me. I don't care. I mean, I care in that I want to understand it, but I'm not caring to the point where I'm going to destroy myself to try and make certain people be the ones in power. I think that as a civilianry, we can control this system as a unified operative. That's my goal, is artism. My middle name is Art. It's Arthur. My fucking middle name is Art. My whole life. I only recently realized if that means anything. My middle name is Art. I love art. I love making music. And this, YouTube videos, internet videos, is a form of art. Like, I used to want to be an actor. Because when I was like a teenager, I was like, well, I'm going to be an actor because one day I'll give this Oscar speech that's going to change the world. And then YouTube appeared. Internet video, and I was like, I can give an Oscar speech every day. And some days I can give 3 Oscar speeches a day if I'm feeling it, make 3 videos in a day. Look at my old stuff on the Crossmack channel, my first channel, Crossmack, CROSSMACK. I would make like 3 to 5 videos a day some days. Fully inspired. So the art, for me, is where I'm focused. And it's very freeing to know that and to acknowledge that. I don't feel so stressed worrying about who's going to be president. Like, there's other ways to guide the species for me. Now, guide us where? That's a scary thought. Because I was like, well, geez, who am I to say where we're going to go next? Like, that's a cult if I'm going to tell you where we're headed next. But, like, the thing is, the process is the destination. This is where we're headed. Where we're heading is right here, right now. It's this. This is it. This bearing this way. This is it. Being together through internet video. That's one way to do it. Just being together. The power of communication and community. The power of community. Just being with someone, being in the presence of someone, being with in someone's presence is like dogged, ravenous for the soul. It feeds the hunger of the soul. Being with someone, being in someone's presence. That's fucking powerful. This technology is not an accident. It can be used and has been used abusively. Like, you can see people being manipulated by internet video in harsh ways. Like, media manipulation is no joke. It's been happening since the dawn of time, I'm sure. Since people were scrawling cave drawings and giving people the wrong directions to the poisoned water because they wanted them to go die off so that they'd be left with where the fresh water was. I'm just making that up, but like I could see some cavemen doing that shit. And obviously, like Edward Bernays and his obsessiveness with manipulating the media, Hitler doing it with the radio, with his fascist organizations, and like just mass formation in general through media manipulation is terrifying. And misguiding people in the wrong way, misinforming people for your own personal gain, like dangerous stuff. But the technology is also necessary to bring us together in this cataclysmic time, this time of cataclysm. Like, it's hitting the fan right now, bro. The U.S. national debt's like 35.3 trillion. I haven't looked in the last couple weeks, but it was like 35 trillion, and then a week later it was 35.1 trillion. Are you kidding me? $100 billion in a week or two that we printed, or that accrued in the debt that we owe to some private banking cartel, the Federal Reserve. Like, what the fuck? That's a lot of debt accruing pretty quickly. So yeah, cataclysm around the corner. Ring the alarm bell. But there's a reason this internet video exists, because we're coming together as a species. And through the shit hitting the fan, we're going to come out of this better and stronger. We get to decide how that happens. One step at a time. I think internet technology is super powerful. And the First Amendment, the American First Amendment, the U.S. First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, United States of America, is being fucking dragged through the coals right now with internet censorship. De facto, it is being raped. It is not doing well because corporate technocrats can shut off your access to the internet. Words can get muted. People can get downranked for saying certain things. That's not free speech. Of course, the argument is, well, you're free to say whatever you want, but you're not free from consequence. I get that, but even so, that someone would have their account shut off because of something they said is demeaning and a disservice to the First Amendment of the United States. So we need to build technologies where the First Amendment is integrated into the system. I've talked a lot about this. You can't rely on a human to protect your rights for you. You have to do it for yourself. And in doing that, you use technologies that inherently have the protection built into the technologies. So like, this is why I'm so down with free software. You might be familiar with free software. It's like a type of open source software, but it's better. It's the best form of open source software, in my opinion. For instance, AGPL3 is a software license. It's a free software license of the open source type. And it says any code you make with AGPL3 licensing, people can use. It's free. It's open source. Take it and use it. But because it's AGPL3, that open source code, if you take it and change it, those changes have to also remain free and open so that the entire world can see what you changed. Whereas with other open source code, you can take it and change it and make it private. AGPL3 free software remains free. It remains open. All the changes are built on top of each other to create an ever-arcing system of free and open source software. So with these giant social networks that are in use, billions of people a day, hundreds of millions of people a day, or whatever, it's dangerous to leave those things in the hands of a few. I think that, and particularly when I say that thing, those things, it's the code itself. It's not the network, it's the code. Because the network can move around. The code, if it's hidden, cannot move around. So the code needs to be open and accessed by enough people. Your free speech is your ability to access the software. And if someone tries to shut you off from it, you don't have the free speech anymore. You need access to that software always, if it's in common usage. I think that's my solution to de facto free speech, is free software code licensing for large networks that function in the commons. We need access to it. So like if YouTube wants to censor you, Well, there's other networks that have that exact same code forked that are interoperating with YouTube. So it'd be like YouTube 2, YouTube 3, YouTube 4, YouTube 5, whatever, all run by different people. There'd be 10 million of these different YouTubes all running in synergy, all connected to each other. So I can subscribe to you on YouTube 1 from YouTube 95. But if you get banned off of YouTube 1, you can still work off of all the other different YouTube systems as long as you don't violate their terms. And then all these different YouTubes will have their own terms of service, because whoever wants to own and run their own version gets to make their own terms. And you'll see people gravitate towards the version with the best terms of service. It'll create a marketplace of terms as opposed to a marketplace of who owns the code, because that's very dangerous to give Jeff Bezos. I'll use you as an example, and I don't mean to use you, but I'm going to use you at the moment, your name. For Jeff to give your kid all that code, now he gets to own everything. Or Mark Zuckerberg, for him, your kid now gets to own all that secret code. It's too dangerous to leave it in the hands of one. It has to be opened up in order for free speech to reign. So that's a solution. That's a focused solution. And then the tactic for me, see, now I'm getting a little meta here, but the tactic for me is to be so fucking entertaining that so many people want to come watch and listen to this technology, this technocratic talk, this tech talk. Tech talk. This is my version of tech talk. Just excited to hang out with people from different political persuasions. I don't like the politics is the refuse of who we are. It's like we have to do it. Obviously, we have to organize society through rules and laws, but it's not the rules and laws that make us who we are. That stuff's just like a result of, hey, we all want to live together, so let's make some systems with rules and laws, hence politics. But we got to focus on who we are and what we do and how we survive and what we make and how we thrive. A lot of it, I feel guilty because I haven't built a farm. You know, there's a lot of things that I haven't done personally. I haven't had kids. I haven't grown crops, really. And I feel like these are other solutions. Like if you want to prolong the species, you teach young children good things and you grow food. But I'm into it. I like that stuff. I like learning about it. But man, my heart and soul is with the guitar. I put it back in the case. It's with music. It always has been. I used to hum in first grade. Teacher would be like, he's so smart. They would tell my parents, he's so smart, but he hums in class. Why does he hum? My dad would be like, I don't know. As he's listening to Steely Dan on the ride to school, or I'm listening to like the Talking Heads or like Warren Zevon or the Beach Boys or whatever the heck when I'm like 2. They're just getting impulsed by Brian Wilson's genius, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to be. I didn't know it at the time. I ate too much sugar to be a good singer back then. If I'd known that pasta and sugar fuck my vocal folds up, I wouldn't have eaten so much of it in high school. I would have been more of a singer back then, but I was initially drawn to acting, and then really, though, my passion is music. And when you think about it, speech is a form of music. Words, utterances, form of musical communication in the guise of language, vibration. Hey, look. We Are Change supplements. Get some at the wearechange.shop. I'm shilling for my buddy Luke Rutkowski right now. But actually, some of these supplements are extremely legit. And I highly recommend getting them if you like them. Ashwagandha. The chill pill. He's also got Essential Fatty. What's this? Essential Fatty. I don't particularly like the branding. I feel like they should all have different colors. But who am I? Just a guy with amazing perception. This is fish oil, gelatin. This is a fish oil. Essential fatty fish oil with EPA and DHA. That looks like a good one. I always like this one. It's called the chill pill. Take the chill pill. Ashwagandha with black pepper. This stuff's legit. I don't know enough about it to tell you why. I just know that I've taken it and I felt really calm after I took ashwagandha. And then this magnesium glycinate. I don't know what the glycinate is, but I know that magnesium's fascinating. Magnesium is at the center of every chlorophyll molecule. There's one magnesium atom just chilling. And you know, magnesium's like explosive when it's exposed to water. It's wild that you can eat it. It probably gives you so much energy. Magnesium, is that like magnet? Magnus? I think the first magnet was discovered by some guy named Magnus. He was like walking along and he found some like cometary impact site, and it was like magnetic. He figured that out somehow, and they were all like, "Oh my God, Magnus figured out this new technology. We'll name it after him." I don't know if that story is true or not, but I think I read that somewhere. He was like a shepherd or something. I think I'm abusing this story. Now I'm just talking just to talk, but god damn, it feels good. You should do the same. Make a video. Let your soul out on camera, man. Dude, this technology is free to use. I mean, as long as you got some sort of video recording apparatus and access to the internet, this shit is free. It's the most, compared to like 30 or 40 years ago, I remember in the 80s, like it was, the thought of being able to project yourself onto TV was like, you had to be super rich or super connected. And now it's free for everybody. Anyone, almost everybody that can afford a freaking... I was in the Amazon rainforest and kids had phones. They could go on YouTube and make videos and put them on YouTube. The power of this technology. Because what happens is you put your face and your vibe and your voice on the internet. And then other people see you and hear you and they get inspired and they want to join the crowd. And then we make community. And it's really fun. And we get to know each other. It can get exhausting. I tried this in like the early days, 2006, 7, 8, when I started making internet videos. I would go person by person. Like you'd make a YouTube video and I'd talk to you and I'd make a video response to you. And it was badass. And I would do that to the next, and another person, and another person. And I would get to know these people one by one, but it started to fuck my psyche up. Like it wasn't sustainable. I thought like, ooh, I'll help everyone one person at a time. But after like 60 or 80 people, I was taking on your pain. Like, it's, you know, there's a reason that people stick in small social groups of like 6 close friends. You have like, like 60 people. Like, it is very challenging to try and interface genuinely and personably with a lot of different people because you're taking on wild energy forces like from all these different people, and it can really fuck you up and transform you. And I went through a pretty dark phase as a result, so I've had to figure out how to do this without blowing my mind. And one way I thought is I could just build systems like minds.com, for instance, systems of free software which allow people to do this without censorship, or with like fortified systems that are more resilient to like external crackdowns and stuff, mesh networking, things like that. Building the systems to allow people to do this kind of thing. But at the same time, I had sort of backed off from the participation because I was so worn from the experience. You still got to throw your hat in the ring. I can't just go away. I've got to still be a part of the community. It's a little more, what would you call it? A little more, what's the word? Exclusive. Can't say hi to everybody. I wish I could. Maybe when we neural net and we're all in some sort of neural net, I can say hello to 5 million people all at once. It's like kind of like the idea of putting on like 1,000 YouTube videos at the same time and listening to them all at once. By the way, if you make videos, which you do, put a bunch of them on at once of your own videos, listening to your own voice. It's a mind trip, dude. It's crazy. It's awesome. It's awesome. You learn all about yourself like in a weird, wild way. It's different than listening to one video and then going on to the next video and then the next video. You put them all on at the same time and they make kind of their own music. You get this one mega video out of it. It's a wild thing. So I'm talking to myself right now, giving myself future advice that I should do. Well, it's nice to burst out this manic shit every once in a while. If you wonder where you're going to go next, it's right here, right now. Make a video. Let it out and upload it. Let the world see. It might be a little humiliating at first, but that is part of the root of humility. Humiliate yourself so that other people don't humiliate you. In fact, the more you humiliate yourself reasonably, the more resilient you become to social pressure, the more ambivalent you become to other people attempting to humiliate you because you've already done it to yourself. Fuck them. Come, bring it. Enjoy. Get on board. I like myself and I like to laugh at myself. I'm willing to show you my butthole. Not really, but like the butthole of the mind. You've seen it. You've seen my mental anus. Catch you later, brother.